Texans not all in? The Texans lost Tank Dell for the whole year. The Texans supposedly loved him. Granted, we paid a decent amount of money, but like, why aren't the Texans making a move or keeping him? That's question number one. The Vikings thing and the Bills thing, I'll throw that out the window. But why didn't the Texans make a stronger move to keep him? Reason number two, what happened to this quote? Because I think Tom Curran is dialed in, and he's been proven right pretty often. The Patriots were exceedingly wary of the negative impact a demanding veteran wideout could have on Drake Maye. As a result, they weren't in the game on talented guys like DK Metcalf and Devontae Adams. I thought that made sense. I bought that at face value. So Steffon is certainly one of those guys.
Yeah.
So those are the two questions I have. Why weren't the Texans more aggressive in keeping him since they need wide receivers? And what happened to the Drake Maye can't have a demanding guy around him since he's only 21?
That's what bothers. Look, I like it like you. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's fine. They have bolstered their receiving group with Diggs and Mac Hollins. That's better than what they had last year, and then the few guys they had before.
Sure.
It's better than last year.
You and Greg would have been better than what they had.
Well, hey, it's better than last year.
Gloves or no?
There's actually some truth to that, but no. That's better than last year. But that quote does bother me because I'd rather have both of those guys, Devontae or DK Metcalf, than Diggs.
Yeah.
Especially DK.
Yes.
And so, but look, overall, I think this is fine. Diggs was good for a young Josh Allen. I think he could be good for a young Drake Maye. He's got some money now, so he shouldn't be squawking about money. So you would think he'll go be. It's really only the $26 million.
$26 million. Is okay. So hold on.
They had to overspend. You know that to get guys
So
there.
a couple things. One is he won't be there on the field week 1. And
seems like an aggressive timeline.
So this is why I think the money does matter. And people are like, well, it's really a 1-year, $26 million deal, and then he has, essentially $21.5 million for each of the next 2 if they want to pick it up. Well, 1 year, $26 million. If he's not on the field till week 6, all of a sudden is prorated to CeeDee Lamb money, and for the year, as far on a per game basis. So I don't love that. I don't love the declining, aging receiver coming off the most catastrophic injury. I don't love the fact that he since he's been a star, he's had nothing but star quarterbacks. And so, now Josh, I understand he helped Josh become a star, but we know and Drake Maye, I like his talent. So I'm not knocking Drake Maye, but I can't, as a well-renowned salary cap expert, I can't ignore the money. And you might be like, Nick, who calls you a salary cap? Admit, if yesterday we were on the air and we were like, oh my God, the Patriots are signing Steffon Diggs.
I was happy.
No. And I was like, wild. Guess how much money he's getting? You wouldn't have come up with 3 years, $69 million.
Oh, I'm waiting for the real money.
The $26 million is the real money.
But here's the thing: they had to spend some money. They had to. They were trying to. They couldn't give away their money.
Okay.
Literally. They couldn't give it away.
We need someone to catch the ball.
I totally agree with that.
Is it a little shopping hungry?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's also, you need someone to catch the ball in week 1, too.
He's on track.
He is not going to play
Well,
week
why
1.
does Adam Schefter say it?
All right. I'm not going to try to figure out if he's playing week 1 or not. It doesn't matter to me. Listen, first off, this whole idea that Drake Maye can't deal with a big, bad veteran wide receiver is like, let's relax here, okay? Do you want him to deal with this overbearing, alpha in-your-face wide receiver when he was a rookie? No. Or even as a second-year player? No. But I think Drake Maye showed a tremendous amount of maturity and poise in a very bad situation, quite frankly, with the New England Patriots last season. And so, and I think now that you also have the true alpha dog as your head coach, everyone else is going to fall in line. Diggs is going to fall in line. He's going to understand that. And I think Diggs himself has matured and settled down a lot. He's not the same person that he was with in Minnesota or in Buffalo. And stop with this nonsense that Diggs was out there developing Josh Allen. Just stop. All right, that's are people saying that Tyreek Hill helped develop Patrick Mahomes? So just stop. Gosh, man, so ridiculous. I mean, like Josh Allen. Don't even get me started. But yeah, I think Drake May will help with, Diggs will help with Drake May, not in terms of developing him or turning him into a better quarterback necessarily, but will give him experience with a truly veteran experienced wide receiver. You need that experience. You need to be able to start to talk that talk and understand these dynamics at the NFL level and understand what a veteran receiver is going to want, need, expect, and what they can offer you. Those things matter. Being able to understand that sooner rather than later matters. And having an offense where you can kind of build from that. Listen, if you're expecting Diggs to get there and just be balling and, put up 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns, that's not going to happen, most likely. But to me, that's not the point. Even having someone like a Diggs at this point in Drake May's career, just from the standpoint of, hey, we want this guy to actually throw to real wide receivers. Because when you don't have real wide receivers to throw to, then you also can't continue to develop as a quarterback, right? I mean, it's just could Drake May develop as a quarterback at the NFL level if he was thrown to a bunch of JV high school, wide receivers? No, you're limited with what you can do. You're limited in the growth that you can do. So if you have to pay a little bit more for a Drake May, for a Diggs, I think that's okay. It's not the worst thing. DK was demanding significantly more money, a longer timeline, and I think it would back the Patriots in a corner. Drake May is ridiculously young. This is a 2-3 year process. I do think that the Patriots have a real chance at, being this year's Washington Commanders, where they can kind of bounce back and surprise a lot of people. Not necessarily jump to the AFC Championship game, but can show a lot of progress quickly. But it doesn't mean that they need to go all in on this next year or make decisions today that are planning for year 2, 3, 4 when you have the quarterback that you have right now. Because May is very young, especially compared to what, Jaden Daniels was, Drake, I'm messing up everyone's name today, Bo Nix, etc. So the truth is, you have another, especially now that you have a new coaching staff and whatnot, and you're kind of punting the year before, this is the year of development with Drake May. This is the year of development. This is the year where you're really going to get significantly more experience and actually get the right information. They always say, there's always a saying, and practice makes perfect. And my dad would always be like, that's such nonsense, because if you practice the wrong thing, then you're not going to be perfect. And so he would always say, perfect practice makes perfect. And, last year for Drake May with the Patriots, it was very imperfect. I mean, obviously you can never get to perfect, but this year is when you're going to actually start to do things the right way. And again, if you have to pay a little bit more money for a veteran wide receiver, then it just is what it is. And I think on this time horizon that they're dealing with, and on this 3-year window, and it is relatively, when you think about how much money wide receivers are getting and what you could potentially draft or get down the line, it's not the worst contract. Again, in a perfect world, would you want to pay that much money for an older wide receiver coming off an injury? No, of course not. Of course not. But do you want to kind of keep playing this game with a rookie wide receiver drafted? It just becomes trickier. You want an established veteran at this point, just at the very minimum for development, not to try to maximize this team, maximize this offense. That's not the name of the game. Year 2 with Drake May and the Patriots bringing in a new coach, obviously an experienced coach, but still new. Everything needs to be redeveloped, just like how it was with Justin Herbert and Harbaugh, and that was with a quarterback who was a lot more experienced. These things take time. They just do. It's a hard sell because everybody wants everything right now, and I get it, right? Nobody's like cheering for their team with the idea of like, well, 2 years from now we're going to be great. Like you just want to be great today. But it's just not the process. And again, I think they'll be significantly better and a lot to cheer for. And I'm excited to be able to talk more Patriots and talk more Drake Maye because I think it'll be worthy to talk about because I think they're just going to be fundamentally a better team. So there'll be more to talk about. But again, you can't expect to have it all this fast. So I think it's actually a better move than people are giving it credit for. When you actually think about like what the intention is, what are you trying to build here? What are you trying to get? You're trying to build a team that you can just continue to learn and grow and develop, get better, instill your culture, win some games, get back on track, develop your quarterback. You're not here trying to figure out how do we build a Super Bowl winning roster today in 2025. That's not the objective right now in this immediate moment. And that's okay. Washington Commanders went out and got Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz was not the tight end who they're like, he's the guy that's going to get us over the hump. No, he's just an awesome locker room guy, seasoned veteran, who's going to be an awesome security blanket for a young rookie Jaden Daniels. So, again, I'm not going to act like Diggs necessarily has that same aura as, say, a Zach Ertz, and they definitely got Zach Ertz for significantly cheaper. But, again, it just kind of is what it is at this point. And yeah, I think especially before Diggs got injured, I think he did appear to be like a great team player and was working hard in the preseason and practices and training camp and all of that. Like all reports were incredibly positive, quite frankly. You're going to get his best going up against the Buffalo Bills twice a year, so I think there could be a lot more to be desired there. Coming back from an injury, that's always a tough one. You never really know. And even just trying to judge what he did with the Texans before he got injured is a little tough because that team was a mess. They never really played complete high quality football. That's just the reality of what their season ended up being. And so, it's kind of hard to really kind of gauge what you're kind of predicting necessarily. But like I said, even at the minimum, it's just more about the familiarity and the growth of Drake Maye to just be around receivers that actually know what they're doing, and have at least played at an incredibly high level. Just that alone is really incredibly valuable, especially for any future relationships that Drake Maye will ultimately have. So yeah, I don't think we have to judge this move too harshly, but we also don't have to praise it as being secretly the best move of free agency either. Multiple things can be true. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Diggs move for to go to the Patriots? 3 years, $69 million deal. Do you like this for Drake Maye? Are you concerned? How will he be able to handle the pressure of a actual wide receiver? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.